I know. It's your husband's fault. It's your partner's fault. Maybe you should even just walk out, get a divorce, You don't get the support that you need. He's battling against your ideas of trying to change the diet to try and turn these autism or ADHD symptoms around, right? And he doesn't want to support you financially in going to therapies or interventions or biomedical protocols. In other words, this guy is working against you, right? I lost my husband because I thought all these things. I actually lost him after my son's symptoms were turned around. So we went from stimming, sleepless nights, screaming, lining things up, a diagnosis, and eloping, scripting, nonverbal autism, aggression, agitation, to none of those symptoms. And a couple of years later, I walked out. I left my husband. And I had all the right reasons. I'm sure you have all the right reasons to be angry at your partner. And he might be treating you in a really problematic way right now. You might even feel like you've got a second child, like you're a caregiver to your partner as well. Why can't he support you? Well, let me tell you why he's not supporting you. Let me also tell you that it's absolutely 100% necessary and crucial for you to get a good relationship with your partner. Whether or not you're divorced or getting divorced, which I don't support, and I regret mine bitterly, because the children and the turnaround, their recovery, whether it's neurotypical children or children with autism and ADHD, they get worse. They have worse predictions for the future. They do worse in school. Their mental health is deteriorating, and turning symptoms around is actually highly problematic if you're divorced, and especially if you're battling with your partner now. When you're in a relationship, you're going to be battling even more when you're divorced, because you then don't have that bond and that commitment anymore. So what's going on? Am I just defending men? Am I against autism moms, warrior moms? Quite the contrary. I love warrior moms. I talk to warrior moms every single day. And that's why I know that it's the husband's fault when the mom doesn't sign up for the turnaround process. It's the husband's fault that the recovery process is stalling, and that the child is eating junk food, and that the child still allowed screens. And often the husband doesn't even support the idea that the child has symptoms or autism, or he doesn't support the idea that you can turn those symptoms around. I'm here to tell you that you can get your partner on board, that there's a reason why he's working against you, and it's actually something he does not want to do. If he's a healthy, mentally fit, grounded guy, if he's not damaged or narcissistic or psychopathic, the only thing he wants is for you to be happy and healthy, and for your children to be happy, healthy, and thrive. It's really hard for a man to get there, because warrior moms, they know everything. We know everything. We're researching all the interventions. We're going to biomedical conferences. We're researching day and night. We don't even sleep at night because we are worrying and researching. That equals biologically us going out hunting for food and bringing it back to the table. What does that mean, and why am I talking about this? Well, that's because we turn into men. We turn into hunters. We turn into gatherers. We turn into the protectors of the children and the family, because we are out there talking to the doctors. We are the ones that know it all, and we tend to become quite controlling. We become either policemen or preachers, and we tell our husbands what to do, what to eat, what he can and cannot do, and we blame him, and then we're also miserable at the same time. How does that destroy everything for you, for your child, for your health, and for your family? Well, it destroys it because biologically, men are wired to be the leader of the tribe and the family, the protector, the provider. He's designed to go out and hunt animals and protect you from intruders and protect you from death and danger, you and your children. in biology and in a wild environment, that's how he brings on his genes, and that's why he brings on his DNA, and that's how he survives. If he has a miserable partner, he knows that he's not going to bring on his DNA. So if you are unhappy, and if your child's got autism, already he feels like a failure. He feels like he is not a king, he's not a leader, and he's failed his biological purpose. It actually impairs his ability to really create testosterone, to feel like a man, and he cannot be happy in that situation. He has to go out and regain territory. And he can either do that by being unfaithful, if he is a really emotionally immature man who's been watching a lot of porn in his youth, because that gives him that feeling of being admired and being a king, being looked up to and being needed. And a happy woman, very important for testosterone. Or he can regain territory, which is what the most amazing men do. They regain territory and testosterone by battling against you. Because you're already the man, you're already the leader, you're already the provider, you're already the protector of the family, right? And the child, because you're a warrior mom and you know everything. So he's got to battle you on your weakest spot. He's got to go for your weakest link, which will be, I'm going to battle against the diet. I'm going to battle against the fact that our child has autism. I'm going to battle against any kind of help that my wife is going to try and introduce to this into the mix. Because you are two men battling against each other to win the family. How do you solve that then? You solve that by becoming what you are biologically, by becoming a woman. And what's a role biologically of a woman? How does women's hormones balance out, and how does women get into a healthy connection with their partner and thrive and be peaceful and happy? Well, we are designed to go and take care of animals and children. We are designed to cook. We're designed to tend to the garden. We're designed to go and fetch water and talk to the other women in the tribe. Yeah, I know that's not pretty. It's not feminists. It's not politically correct. But biology doesn't tend to give a darn about that, you know. Biology is biology, and that's why when we're in fight and flight, actually our nervous system and our brain will work against change. That's why autism turnarounds and autism recovery rarely happens, because subconsciously we're going to try and maintain status quo. Because in the wild, any change is dangerous. Because there might be a white animal out there, I'm going to protect her from that. There might be an enemy out there, I'm going to protect her from that. So even if change means that you're turning symptoms around for your child, that change is going to be something that your brain's going to try and avoid. Same thing with the biology, that is the biology of the dynamic between men and women. So the more feminine you can be, the more happy you can be, aka go for the things that make you happy. Stop complaining, stop being a victim, stop whining, stop blaming him for not taking action. Stop turning him into a father that you have to ask for allowance. Do respect him and his choices, but let me tell you one thing. When my son had autism symptoms and I didn't sleep at night, and I could see that he would never be able to get a life, and me, I would never be able to get a life because everything was tantrums and screaming and stress and fear. I did everything and anything. I threw everything at it. I moved out of the city. I quit my job. I worked in the nighttime to make money to provide for this. I went to the US for doctors' conferences. I read every single book. There was no Google or Facebook back then. I did everything. I sacrificed everything. If we want it, we're going to make it happen. Let's not turn our husbands into our fathers that we need permission from, but let's turn him into our king, our leader, someone that we need for guidance. Ask his advice, compliment him, surrender to him, let him carry you, let him protect you. Show him respect, because when you do, he feels like a success. And then he doesn't have to bitch fight you on food and bitch fight you on whether or not your child has symptoms, or bitch fight you on whether or not you should be turning symptoms around and changing the diet and go for a system that actually can provide that. So when you've done that, come to me and let's go through those 5 steps that I went through to take my child from stimming, screaming, sleepless nights, eloping, scripting, sensory issues, picky eating, night terrors, all those things, aggression, and nonverbal autism, to none of those symptoms and a completely normal life today. So I'm really curious to hear from you. If you liked this video, hit subscribe and share it with someone. It really means a lot for me to bring this message to people. And it also means a lot to me if I can save a marriage, because divorce is the worst thing that can happen to a child, to a woman, and to a family. And believe me, it gets 10 times more difficult to turn symptoms around, to provide for yourself, to fend for your family if you get that divorce. Of course, I'm not talking about abusive relationships or narcissistic partners or psychopathic partners here, because we got to leave those. But curious what you think. Do you agree? Do you think I'm way off? Or is it time to come together to save your relationship and provide a better platform for you to turn symptoms around?